there, folks. Welcome to another edition of Retro Raw Reviews, co-host of Ring Post Daily Podcast. Awesome one, Joey here. And we're going to dive right in to the very 7th episode of Monday Night Raw. This Monday Night Raw episode was held in New York City at the Manhattan Center, March 1st, 1993, Episode 7, Monday Night Raw. Let's get into it. So we get right off to a WWE Championship match to start off Monday Night Raw. This match went on for about 15 minutes, and Bret Hart, the champion, would defeat Head Shrinker Fatoon, later in the future known as Rikishi, in a really good match. We had both Head Shrinkers out there trying to pull one over on the ref, trying to get the best of Bret, but Bret retained in this 15-minute title match, and he retained in just enough time to go to WrestleMania. And this match itself gets an up. The thing about the match that gets a down was the title should have gone on last. This match should have been the main event of Monday Night Raw, and it wasn't. The match is getting an up, the placement of the match is getting a down. And then we move on to good old Mean Gene Okerlund, who gets an up, because this was the Mean Gene WrestleMania update. Just in case you weren't in the loop, just in case you haven't watched Raw wrestling here in a bit, Mean Gene was there to tell you not only to not miss WrestleMania, but here's why. And he named off a good handful of matches that we were going to see. He really did keep you and me and all the other fans watching at home in the loop, saying why we shouldn't miss WrestleMania. And if you don't believe me, here's why. So Mean Gene, for his weekly WrestleMania update, giving us an update on the more matches that were added and the more that we were going to see. Mean Gene, you get an up, buddy. And then we get on to a segment where Crush is on the beach or something, and he takes this coconut, right? And he's talking in this pre-recorded promo, and he says, he takes this coconut and he crushes it with his hands, and he pretty much says, at WrestleMania, that's gonna be Doink the Clown. Now, it was a decent segment. I guess it was a good way to fill the time that you had to fill on Raw. You have about a 45-minute episode. You already had segment and matches filled out for the card. This was a decent minute-long scene where, you know, it adds a little something to the Doink Crush match. But yeah, Crush, who was attacked by Doink a few weeks ago and hasn't been on Raw since. He's back at home. He's on his island, on his beach, wherever he's at. And he says, brother, this is you. This coconut I'm about to crush with my bare hands will be you, Doink. So just keeping the feud alive. Just letting us fans know that Crush is okay. He'll be there at Mania to get his hands on Doink. Gets an up from me. And then we get to our second match of the evening. Doink the Clown defeats Coco Beware in 1 and 47 seconds. Now this match gets a down for me, because first off, this match was just terrible. 1 47 seconds. This match did nothing for either man. Doink going into WrestleMania against Crush, it didn't do anything for him. It didn't make him look bad. It didn't make him look tough. If anything, he attacked Coco during his entrance, did a couple moves on him, made him tap out, and that was it. 1 47 seconds. As long as it would take you to go to your refrigerator and get a snack or a soda and come back, you wouldn't have even known that these two guys entered the ring and did their thing. So this match gets a down. Now, being my show, my segment here, after Doink's match, he goes to Rob Bartlett, who for some reason is dressed like the dead Elvis, and he comes to Rob, and Rob's like, oh, hey, I like you, I'm a fan, I like clowns, they make me laugh at carnivals and stuff. And he goes, oh, I got something for you in this box, and it's like a little tiny pie. and then when he turns around, he gets a big pie right in the face. It gets an up for me just because, God, Rob Bartlett, he did his best as a commentator, but it was not what we wanted in commentary. It was just, it wasn't what we wanted. And to see Rob Bartlett get pied in the face, my show, my segment, I give it an up. And then our next segment on Raw, Money Inc., $1 Million Man, and IRS, they come out to the ring to do an in-ring interview with Vince McMahon. And they're out here to discuss the Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake challenge at WrestleMania. And the challenge was to be for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And they come out here and they say, if we did it to Beefcake Hogan, what makes you think we won't do it to you? They pretty much said, these fans think we won't do it. Well, we will do it, and we accept the challenge. So I give this segment an up because they accept the challenge of the Mega Maniacs. They go out there and they talk more bad about Jimmy Hart and Beefcake and Hogan. They try to get a little bit more heat on them as they can. And then if you thought we were going to see Mega Maniacs versus Money Inc., well, now we know for sure we are. And just to make this rivalry a little bit more important, a little bit more spicier, the WWE Tag Team Championships are put on the line. And it's all officiated, all official right here in this segment. It gets an up from me. And then we get on to our next match. Lex Luger defeats jobber PJ Walker in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. This jobber match was one-sided, obviously for Lex Luger to look tough, but it really wasn't nothing special at all, and it gets it down from me. Like I said, it gets it down from me because, one, it was nothing special, and two, Luger, who is going to face Mr. Perfect in a couple of weeks at WrestleMania, he should be out here beating some top name talent, getting something under his belt, and defeating a jobber in a one-sided match, and that being it, leading into WrestleMania and into a match with someone whose name is literally Mr. Perfect, gets a down from me. And then we get into our main event here, which is the Steiner brothers defeating the team of Barry Hardy and Dwayne Gill, who would later become Gilbert. Now, this match was boring. Just like a lot of Steiner brother matches we've seen since the first episode of Raw up to this one, which is the 7th episode of Raw. Every Steiner match we've seen on Raw has had very, very little, if no meaning at all. And it was one-sided. The Steiner brothers did all the action. Dwayne Gill and Barry Hardy here, they literally just took the shots as they came. No offense, no hard-hitting action back and forth. It was just a one-sided, boring match. And I give it a down. One, because it was a boring match. And two, if you're going to have a match of this caliber, this little of caliber on the show, this should have gone on first. This should have switched places with the WWE title match. Bret and Fatu should have gone on last in their 15-minute great match. And the Steiner brothers' boring match should have been the first match on the card. Like I said, I give it a down because of how boring it was, and also because it should have gone on first, not last. Yes, we're just getting the Monday Night Raw gears rolling. We wouldn't know how big Raw was going to be until a number of years later. But still, when it comes to Monday Night Raw, when it comes to prime time TV slots, you want your main event match to be the best. And this was not the case. We got a boring match in the end, and we got an exciting match in the beginning. Steiner Bros defeating Barry Hardy and Dwayne Gill gets it down. Well, guys, that was the Retro Raw review for Monday Night Raw, Episode 7. I appreciate you guys watching along and rating these Raws with me. And just in case you want to rate them yourselves, go to the comment section right down below. Put your opinions in there. Tell me what you agree with. You think what should have happened, what you liked, what you didn't. That's what the comment section is for, to let me and the rest of the world know what you thought about Raw episode number 7. Don't forget to check out Ring Post Daily Podcast on Facebook, and we'll see you next time in the next Retro Raw review.